Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to draft this princess dart waistcoat. It's a fitted waistcoat, so we'll begin by drafting. I'll be marking 2.5 inches for my overlap and the button space for the waistcoat. So I'll mark that all the way down, and after marking, I'll rule it a straight line. After that, the next step is to impute our measurement. I'll mark my shoulder to my bust line of 9 inches, shoulder to my bust point of 10.5, shoulder to my waistline of 16 inches, shoulder to my hip 23 inches, shoulder to length 25 inches. I'll mark that measurement and I'll connect with a straight line just as shown. After marking, the next step is for us to impute our shoulder measurement. I'll impute my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 16 inches divided by 2, that will give me 8 inches. I'll mark that measurement and I'll proceed to marking my neck width and my neck depth. After marking my shoulder measurement, the next step is to mark our shoulder slope. I'll be coming down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'll be connecting a line to meet my 4 inches of neck width. So after that, the next step is for me to cover out my armhole. I'll be marking my bust round measurement of 42 divided by 4, that will give me 10.5. I'll mark that measurement and I'll go inwards by 0.5 inches at the midpoint of my armhole line, and I'll curve my armhole just as shown. Please, if you don't understand what I'm doing, please just watch the video. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. I'll be sure to reply. I'll proceed now to covering my armhole just as shown. After covering my armhole, the next step is for us to input our nipple to nipple measurement. My nipple to nipple measurement is 8 inches divided by 2. That will give me 4 inches plus 0.5 inches of sewing allowance. That will give me 4.5. I'll mark that measurement and I'll mark it all the way down. That's what I'm going to do next. Here, I'm just marking my neck width of 8 inches, but later on, I adjusted my neckline to 8 inches. Here, I marked 7 inches, but later on, I adjusted it to 8 inches. So right now, I'm just marking my V neckline for my waistcoat. That's the neckline we'll be using for this pattern drafting. If you have watched my video to this point and you're learning one or two things, please don't forget to give this video a like so that YouTube can push out my content. It really helps my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. To the new subscribers, welcome to the family. On this channel, we do pattern drafting and sewing tutorials. So right now, I'll be going inwards for my dart of 0.5 inches on both sides. That means I'm taking 1 inch for my dart. Now, the good thing about princess dart is that whatever you take in for your dart is what you're going to take in for your armhole dart as well. Whatever you take in for your dart, take the same amount of dart for your armhole. So right now, I've gone ahead to rule out my dart intake. Now, I'll come to my armhole. Since I went out by 1 inch for my dart intake, that's 0.5 inch on both sides, I'll go to my armhole now and I'll extend downwards by 1 inch. I'll come down from the midpoint of my armhole by 1 inch and I will extend by 1 inch. You want to do this step so that you won't have shortage of fabric to work with when you're joining your princess dart together. So after doing that, I'll just proceed to covering out my dart just as shown. You cover out your dart like this just as shown. So after covering out your dart, I'll replace my armhole. I'll recurve my armhole because that 1 inch mark, I have to include it to my armhole line. So I've adjusted my armhole, adding 1 inch to my bust line measurement. So after doing that, I'll add my 2 inches of sewing allowance to my bust round measurement. I'll come to my waist of 38 divided by 4, that will give me 9.5. I'll add my 1 inch of that taken and 2 inches of sewing allowance. Also for my hip, 44 divided by 4, that will give me 11 inches, plus 1 inch of that taken and 2 inches of sewing allowance. And I'll mark that measurement and I'll connect with a straight line. You want to make sure that your pattern comes out looking like this. This is the best way to draft your pattern for the front pattern. For the back pattern, there's a trick and there's a way we are going to draft the back pattern. Please watch how I draft my pattern and how I cut out my pattern so that you don't make a mistake cutting out yours. So for the slant at the front of the pattern, that's the V slant, I'll just proceed to placing my ruler at my dart intake and I'll just extend a line to meet the overlap. That's what I just did at the front pattern. And I went upwards by 0.5 inches at my hemline and just connected a straight line to meet my dart intake. So with that, we are done with the front pattern. I'll proceed now to cutting out my pattern. Please watch how I cut out my pattern. Don't make a mistake cutting out yours. First of all, I'll cut out the dart intake. After cutting the dart, I'll proceed to cutting the rest of the pattern out. Now that we're done cutting out the pattern, I always do this step because I have students with me. I'll proceed to pinning down the patterns together so we can see what we are working with. I like to do this step because it gives me an imagination of what my outfit should look like. So I'm going to proceed now. This is me laying out the pattern. I'm going to proceed with my pins to pin down my pattern paper. For my students, I tell them if you don't want to pin down, you can sew it down. So you sew it down and see how your pattern should look like. So here is this after pinning. It came out really looking nice. This is how you want your waistcoat to come out, looking like this. So now that we're done with the front pattern, we're going to proceed to drafting the back pattern. Now for the back pattern, remember I said it's a fitted waistcoat. So in order to make it fitted at the back, we're going to proceed to marking 1 inch for fitting allowance. That 1 inch I marked is not zipper allowance, it's for fitting allowance. I'm going to fit our back pattern. So I proceeded to marking my measurements. I imputed my shoulder to bust line, shoulder to bust point, shoulder to waist, shoulder to hip, shoulder to length. I also marked my 1 inch of shoulder slope and I curved my armhole already. But I'll be marking a neck depth of 1 inch for the back pattern. I've gone ahead to curve my neckline. I will also impute my measurement and my bust span measurement all the way down as well. I'll mark that measurement, and the next thing I'm going to do is to impute our other measurements. I'm also going to be taking 1 inch for my dart intake for the back, but I'll be extending my dart intake upwards to meet my bust line a bit. So I extended by 1 inch upwards to meet my bust line. So I'll go outwards for my darts, 0.5 inches on both sides, and I'll be drafting my dart this way. This is the way you want to draft the dart for the back pattern. If you really want your waistcoat to come out fitted, this is the best way to draft your pattern. So I'll proceed now to just connecting the lines to meet my hip line. I'll proceed my dart intake to meet my hip line, and with that we are done with the dart. So now the next step is for us to impute our measurement, my waist measurement, including 1 inch of sewing allowance, 1 inch of dart intake and 2 inches of sewing allowance. Same thing for my hip measurement, 1 inch, half inch of dart intake and 2 inches of sewing allowance for the back as well. So right now that we are done, I'll connect the lines, and the next step is for us to fit our back pattern. Now in order for us to fit it, I'll go to my waistline and I'll go inwards by 0.5 inches, and I'll go to my bust line and go inwards by 0.25 inches. There's a reason why we are drafting the back pattern this way. You don't want to have your back not looking fitted. There's a way the back of your waistcoat should look like, and this is exactly how you go about the pattern. So right now I've gone ahead to mark those measurements, and I'll connect my ruler slightly to connect those lines. Please watch how I connect my lines in this video on how to draft your back pattern for your waistcoat. This is a tutorial that helps you draft a perfect fit for your waistcoat. And right now, after drafting, the next step is for us to cut out our pattern. If you're a beginner, please pay attention and ensure you draft your pattern before you cut out on fabric. When you are done drafting your pattern, ensure that you place it on fabric and you cut out. So now that we are done, I will impute my sewing measurement, sewing allowance all the way around, and I'll proceed to blending the lines. Since I took 0.5 inches on the waistline, I'll come outwards on my waistline and add that 0.5 inches, and also on the bust line I'll add this 0.25 inches, and I'll blend the line just as shown. So now we are done with the back pattern. I'll cut out this pattern just as shown, and I'll align it together so we can see what we are working with. And this is how you want your fitted back pattern to look like when you are done cutting out. When cutting out your pattern as a beginner, please note where your dart intake is. When you're cutting on fabric, please note that point where your dart intake is so that you don't make a mistake when you're joining your darts together on your fabric. So right now I'm just aligning it together. I'll proceed to folding in the dart intake so that you can see how your pattern should come out looking like. If you have learned 1 or 2 things in this video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like and share this video. Until I come your way again, bye.